Now, if you're a coach or consultant, or you're in the info product space, or you are just involved in online business, especially around Instagram and YouTube, and you watch a bunch of content around that, you probably would have noticed if you're scrolling through Instagram, or now even YouTube now, you get hit with an Instagram reel or an ad on Instagram, or your feed is just starting to get filled with the same looking kinds of content surrounding coaching. Maybe you see a bunch of Bali bros that they're just all hanging out together, and you see people flying first class in business. And every time you see a video of them or a story post, there's some kind of call to action on it, or in their content, there's always like a call to action. It's DM me the word this, or message me the word, or comment the word that. And it seems like everything that they talk about, it's always about how much cash they've collected and what their clients are doing. And me and my clients have done this, and I've helped my clients scale to this, and I've helped my clients scale to that. And you're not really sure what it is they're selling. And at the end of the day, you go through all their accounts, the content looks the same. It's all them in villas in Bali, or it's all them in somewhere overseas, or potentially Dubai as well, right? In pretty much the same parts of the world. And your deduction of all of this is that they're all pretty much coaches, right? And whether they are coaches that do coach people on fitness or some kind of other skill or mindset or something, whatever it is, or they're coaches who do coach other coaches and consultants. And you see all this content and it all looks the same. It's all got the same strategy. And this deduction that you come to, especially if you're a coach or consultant yourself, or you're in the info space, your deduction is that, holy shit, it looks like the coaching space is saturated. It looks like that everyone is a carbon copy. And you're right. And you might be scared of this if you are a coach or consultant yourself, or you do have a business and you're trying to grow on Instagram, that it's going to be really hard to break out. And a lot of people are saying this in the space now. Oh, it's so hard to stand out in the market. It's so hard to, make a name for myself. I'm just trying to grow a small personal brand. You would have heard this a lot, like grow a small micro personal brand, or whatever it is they call it. A lot of people are saying it's so hard to do that and it's so hard to stand out. I want to talk about in this video why, especially in the coaching industry, coaching niche, why coach saturation is good and why it's a good thing for you. So I'm going to explain it as well as best as I can in an sort of a visual format. So let's say that this is the content bubble right now, okay? And we could say that this is IG, and look, majority of you watching this are probably going to be around IG and YouTube. So this is the IG and YouTube space, okay? And everyone you see that's either a coach, right, consultant, they might sell a program, they might sell a course, they might have masterminds, okay? And you might notice that these same people, their content is the same. Like, it just looks the same. It's got the same feel. They're all hanging around together. Again, Bali bros. I don't know why. I don't know why Bali is the player. Maybe because it's cheaper. I don't know. But there's a bunch of Bali bros there. Stripe notifications. Stripe noties coming through. Stripe notifications. You'll see the word client get thrown around so fucking much. Clients, right? Scale, that's another one. You'll see all this shit thrown around. And this adds into this bubble, okay? So this is what's happening at the moment. This saturation that you're seeing, it's because all of these people, all of these business owners have kind of just recently, majority of them have recently come onto the scene in the last, I'd say the last year or two. And let's say these circles represent, okay, and at the moment, right, we'll get to this in a second. Let's see all these circles represent all these coaches, right? So let's just say all these circles here represent all these coaches, these business owners in this bubble, okay? So these are all the Bali bros. These are all the coaches and consultants, or coaches who coach coaches. And by the way, I have a coaching business myself. I have a consulting business, okay? I don't coach coaches on how to coach other coaches, right? I have helped coaches in the past. I'm working with a couple of people at the moment, but I am not involved in this industry, okay? And this is just what I've seen. And the reason why I say it's pretty much new the last 1 to 2 years, I've been in the coaching space for the last like 8 years, getting close to a decade now. So I've seen the difference in the growth. And what I've seen is that all of these new people that are coming on board that have all these masterminds, all the content looks the same, again, Bali Bros, Stripe notification, all of these clients and scale, all of these keywords and these hype words, buzzwords that get thrown around. This whole ecosystem of Instagram and YouTube, these are all the coaches and consultants that are playing in it. Now, this saturation is where you're at right now. And this is you, right here. Okay, that's you. And right now, why it's a problem for you is because you're just trying to replicate and become a carbon copy of every other fucking person in this scene. Doesn't matter whether you're coaching coaches, doesn't matter whether you've got a really good program. And I know for a fact there's a lot of good people out there, and you're more than likely one of these people as well that actually have a really good skill that you can help other people with. You've got a really good business that actually makes changes, in this world. And while this might be you, you're trying to play in the same field. You think to yourself, okay, well, I need to optimize my Instagram. I need to optimize my Instagram like this coach or consultant where I have this amount of pinned posts and I do this amount of stories each day and I have these call to actions and I make my content look like this because this is the money that this is bringing in 50K a month, 100K a month for this person. I need to run masterminds. I need to, go travel overseas and I need to book business class and do all this shit. At the end of the day, you're just competing with a bunch of carbon copies. And this ecosystem here, this is what's causing the saturation. Now, I want to tell you something that will give you some perspective on this. When I first started in the coaching consulting space, I was doing this unknowingly, but coming back to it now, and especially recently, I've been thinking about it a lot. When I first started on YouTube, I was just creating content. And I fell into the coaching and consulting space by accident. I was posting a lot of content around Amazon selling. I still post Amazon selling content, obviously, but I was posting a lot of Amazon selling content. I didn't have a coaching program. I didn't have a course. I wasn't teaching people, like getting paid to teach people. I was just doing this content because I was interested in the topics. I was being myself, and I was talking about the shit that I love talking about. So I had recently, obviously, I'd been selling on Amazon for a year or two at that point. It actually helped me leave my 9-to-5 job. And I was so fucking passionate about it that I was just making content around what I love. Now, at the time, and this was around sort of 2017, 2018 period, there was a bunch, and look, not as many now. It's very prevalent now because Instagram's become such a huge thing. The whole Instagram funnel hacking shit where people are optimizing their Instagram pages. It didn't happen as much in those days, right? I say in those days, it was like, however many years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago. It didn't happen as much. But in the YouTube space, there was already people that were talking about Amazon. There was huge players, especially in the US, in the Amazon space, and they were getting paid to do coaching and whatnot. And at the start, I didn't have any idea that I wanted to do coaching. Again, it happened to be by accident because I started getting people requests to pay me to learn how to do Amazon. But that's not the point. The fact is that I was talking about all of this stuff, right? I was being let's call it a niche of one. Now, I wasn't doing anything strategically. I wasn't trying to talk about certain things to gain almost like, yes, I wanted my videos to become popular. I wanted to get a lot of views on them, but I wasn't talking about this stuff on YouTube to ultimately make money. I was talking about this stuff on YouTube to teach people what I was learning, and I wanted to document. I was super excited about it. I would do strategic videos. So I would do like a bunch of strategy, right? I would do mindset. And I would just talk about this stuff as it's come up. But the niche of one, what I mean by that, was that I ultimately got out of this, okay? And this was where all the, back then people would call them YouTube e-com Amazon gurus. They'd call them like online course gurus and stuff. Pretty much the same thing as what the coaches who coach coaches, like the coaching gurus is now. It's the exact same thing. But this was pretty much just YouTube. Like back then, if we get rid of this, right, this was just YouTube. It was the exact, very similar playing field, just not as amplified because it was on YouTube. But I got out of this and I was able to separate myself from the competition. Now, one, I'm not going to lie, a little bit of luck was involved with this because I was talking to Aussies about Amazon, and around 2017, around 2018, when I started to get like 100 subscribers, 200 subscribers, and my growth started on YouTube, it was really good timing because Amazon Australia had just launched. But the reason I became a niche of one was because I started talking about stuff I was passionate about. I started, and another big thing as well, I'm going to really butcher this, unapologetically, I probably spelled this wrong, unapologetically me. So my content, the stuff that I did, I wasn't trying to follow anyone in the YouTube space. I was sort of looking at what they were doing in terms of content, like the stuff that they were talking about, but I wasn't trying to model their exact videos. I wasn't trying to do anything in particular to copy them. I was just sort of gaining an idea, some inspiration of what the scene was looking like and what people wanted to learn. But then again, it was all for people in the US. Like, it didn't really matter to me. And all I wanted to talk about was stuff that was important to me. I recently, a year or two before that, was able to leave my job. I was really passionate about helping other people to do this, and I really didn't have anyone else to talk about at the time, about online business. So I really was just talking about, hey, I fucking love this stuff, like talking about Amazon, e-commerce, just getting out of your 9 to 5, or at least trying to just break away from it and get out of the current situation that you're in, at least help yourself. And this is where all my strategy, mindset, and I was really passionate about it. And I was just me in these videos. If you go back to my oldest videos, 7-8 years ago on this channel right now, you will see I was not trying to portray some persona. I was just me. I had terrible videos in the beginning. In the early days, I wasn't even looking at the camera properly, but that's how it was. I was unapologetically me. And what ended up happening was that I put myself in a niche of one. So what ended up happening was, instead of me being here, right? Instead of me being in this big pool where you are right now, trying to compete here, I just put myself here. And it was just me. That was it. And the funny thing is that people, so let's say this is the crowd. Okay, now in my case, this was Aussies, or just at least people who wanted to learn how to sell in Australia on Amazon. Right? Or just people that resonated with me. It didn't even have to be Aussies, just people who resonated with me. They saw all this, so they were looking at all this, looking at what's in the scene. They're like, okay, cool, this is good information. I don't mind this stuff, and this is the whole scene as a whole. But ultimately, no. It didn't really resonate with them. Then they see my stuff, and because I'm here not trying to copy everyone else, not trying to sell in the US like everyone else, not trying to do what's popular, I was just talking about my own shit, being passionate about it. What ended up happening was that they started to really binge my content. So it was a lot of Aussies, a lot of people who wanted to sell in Australia, people who were interested in Amazon because it had just launched in Australia. And not only did I start getting, more people binge my stuff, but these people here, right, that were interested in my stuff, they became like full raving fans. Now, I know a lot of people talk about raving fans, but I had so many people that, and I still do to this day, that message me, they comment, they say, Jack, I don't watch anyone else's stuff on Amazon. Like, I just want to watch your stuff because the way that you talk about it really resonates with me, and I love the way you talk about mindset. Like, this mindset stuff had nothing to do with me trying to get clients. And all of the stuff that I was doing had nothing behind me trying to get clients or get the bag, right? Had nothing to do with that. So I became a niche of one. And people really started to really love my content. Right now, how does this help you? Okay, you probably know what theme I'm going with here, or what I really want you to take away from this. But here's the thing. Coaching saturation at the moment, whereas again, I'm going to mention it, there's a bunch of people flexing, and look, I actually really enjoy people flexing. Like, I like watching it, especially when it's in Australia, because when I was growing up, like, flexing was really frowned upon, and tall poppy syndrome. I'm not going to get into this video, but I like seeing people flex, because to me it's like, okay, cool, that's something I can achieve. If it's something that I don't have, I'm like, damn, I should be pushing for more. I like that. So I'm not against flexing, but when they do it just because other people are doing it, like, oh, I need to get this watch just because this guy's got a watch, or I need to get this car just because this guy's got a nice car. Everyone's fucking buying McLarens and shit, and it's always that same orange color McLaren. I don't know. Nothing wrong with it. It's a nice car, but why? Do you really want that? Anyway, this is something I want you to ask yourself. Okay? Do I want my life to be that? So what do I mean by that? Do I want my life to be that? Okay, now, you look at someone on Instagram and YouTube, and they've got nice cars, and they've got nice stuff, they're making a lot of money. But what I mean by do I want my life to be like that? You need to ask yourself, is this how you want to be portrayed? Like, is this how you want people to look at you, like the same as everyone else? Are you just wanting the cars? Are you just wanting this, not even the level of success, because you should always push to be more successful. But do you want your life to look like this for you? Or do you want your life to look like this because that's what you think you should have? Right now, I realized this quite quickly, and the reason I'm making this video is because I came back to it recently, because I actually started to fall into the same trap. On my Instagram, I felt like I had to post certain pieces of content just because that's what the scene was doing. And I started watching my old content, and I started realizing that, hey, I actually had a lot of interaction and a lot of feedback and everything on my videos in the early days. Now, that could be because there wasn't as much competition as there is now. Seems like every second person is talking about business on YouTube and Instagram, at least in my world, that's what's happening. But the reason being is because people just resonated with who I was. I was a niche of one, right? So I took some notes from my old self, and I thought, okay, I don't want to be in the same playing field as everyone else. It's not like I want to just be at the top of the mountain above everyone. Obviously, I'm trying to compete with everyone else just like you are. But I just want to talk about what I want to talk about because I love talking about it. And this saturation is a good thing. So, what do you do from here? You do two things. One, be you. Two, fuck everyone else. That's it. It doesn't matter. Make the content that you want to make. Talk about the stuff that you want to talk about. If you want to vlog, do that. If you want to be strategic, you want to talk about strategy, if you love building funnels, if you love running ads, talk about that. You don't have to set up a camera in front of some fucking beach or in front of a pool in Bali or some shit like that. You don't have to do that. I look at people, you know what happens to me? When I look at people in Bali and I look at the villas, they're like, oh, I'm renting this really nice villa. And this, look, again, I'm not shitting on Bali itself, or like if you want to live there or if you want to visit there. But the thing is that a lot of people are doing it just because it's like the thing to do. And I look at Bali myself and I'm like, why? This looks like the worst fucking thing ever, because you take a step out of your villa and there's nowhere to walk, there's dirt paths, it smells a lot, and it's just basically third world country. It's just not my thing, right? So I see that and I'm like, why would you want to be there just to film some content, get some Instagram reels going, some photos, and then leave? Or maybe just go to the host a mastermind because it's cheap. I don't know. But you're just going to be yourself, right? Now, this is something that you're probably going to start seeing, well, you already are seeing a lot of my content. You just be yourself and voice your own opinion. If I was to put a third one in there, voice your opinion. And if you couldn't tell, haven't planned out what I'm writing on this board in this video. It just comes to me and I just write it. So I'm going to end this video here just with these three things. Be you, like everyone else, voice your own opinion. Because at the end of the day, this saturation is good for you if you know how to be yourself. If you're trying to be a carbon copy like everyone else, run the same fucking funnel with the same script in your ads, targeting the same people, saying the same shit, and then they go into your account and it's the same content, and you're in Bali with the boys, and it's just the same thing over and over again. Of course, it's going to be hard for you to stand out because you're trying to be the same as everyone else, even if you don't want to be. So, follow this, be yourself, whether you are a coach, a consultant, or you got an info business, or you run mentorship or programs, or maybe you like Bali. Who knows? I don't know. I'm going to stop going on about it. But whatever you do, whatever business you run, the way you stand out, especially in a saturated market, is just by being you. And it's actually easier. I think it's a lot easier now to stand out than what it was back then, right? Because it was almost like you had to, almost like for a lot of people, they had to put on a facade to stand out. Now everyone's just putting on the same facade and it's like they're wearing the same mask. And the way to actually stand out is just be you. Okay, so I hope this video helped. Let me know if it did. Give it a like, just comment down below. And this is something really cool. As I said, I like voicing my opinion on this stuff, and I'm going to be doing it a lot more just because I think it's needed. And this is just where I think the coaching space is at the moment. I think it's fucked, but it's good for you. It's good for me and you if you know how to do it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.